discussing about firewall in Google Cloud Platform. As a part of that, in the last couple of videos, we understood about firewalls and we understood what is firewall, how it works, why we need it, and what are the other functions of firewalls. And even in the previous video, we understood about the firewall rules and all, right? So starting from this video, let's understand more in depth with the hands-on understanding or with the hands-on experience. All right, fine. So let's get into it. So in this video, let's create a simple firewall rule and let's associate with the VPC. Let's understand how does a firewall works. And in the upcoming videos, let's do more with the firewall rules, because as you know, as we said earlier, there are a lot of parameters that's available in a firewall that we can create a multiple, means we can create a firewall rules based on multiple parameters. All right. So starting with a very basic simple firewall rule, in the, let's go with this video, and in the upcoming videos let's explore more in detail about firewall. All right, so in order to get into firewall or to see the firewall in Google Cloud Platform, just click the navigation menu and it is again part of VPC network. So under VPC network means by default this is the place where you will be seeing the firewall. Okay, and before that, just want to keep you informed that if you remember in the last section or in the last video, the hands-on videos, when we are discussing, we had three VPCs, right? One is a default and the other one is custom VPC. In addition to that, we also have a VPC which we created manually using a auto mode. Okay, so just to avoid confusion, I have deleted it. So for now or going forward, we are having only two VPC. One is default and the other one is with the custom VPC. And again, the custom VPC has only three subnets, which is two in Mumbai and one at Delhi. All right, so maybe I can just show you before we getting into it. All right, so if you see here, we have one subnet that's created for Delhi and we have two more subnets that created for Mumbai region. That's fine. And for the easy convenience, I have just duplicated this window. Let me open compute engine. So before getting into firewall rules, let's see how many VMs we have. All right, so we have three VMs running, and out of that, two VM, that is VM1 and VM3, are part of the default VPC. Okay, and this VM2 is part of the custom VPC that we have created. All right, all right, so that's fine. Okay, and that VM that's part of this custom VPC is created at South 1, that's Mumbai. All right, fine, just for a reference. Okay, let me go back to my VPC, and under that, if you see here, there will be an option called firewall. Okay, so in order to navigate your firewall, you can just get into, you can either using the search bar or you can go to the navigation menu, come to VPC network. Under VPC network, you will see the firewall here. Just click it. So once you click here, so this is the place where we will be defining about firewall policies. All right. If you remember, we were talking about the default firewall policies, right? If you remember, when we create a new VPC, default firewall policies also getting added, right? So this is all the default firewall policy, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, totally 5 default policy, and this includes one HTTP as well. Okay, that's fine. And so this is all about ingress. You can just go through it to understand what it is. Means basically, if you want to go through about it, maybe I can just click any one among it. So this is about the name. Okay, this is the description and this is the name, default allow ICMP, which means that it is allowing the ping. Okay, whenever we send a ping request, we are getting a response, right? Ping response. So this is explicitly for that particular traffic, right? And it is applicable to which network, that's what here it's mentioned. And as I said earlier, we discussed earlier, by default the default firewall policies has a priority of 65/534. Okay, and which direction it is, it's ingress. When I say ingress, the request that's coming from outside towards the Google Cloud, the inside. Okay, action on match. So when ICMP packet is coming, it's set to allow. Okay, and source. Okay, it's set to any IP. It can, the request may be coming from any IP towards towards the inside, we can allow. And this is the ports and protocol, the services place where we choose what to be allowed. In this particular rule, explicitly we have added only ICMP. We can do more with here. And this is the enforcement state, it is enabled. All right. And this particular rule is applied to this two VM1 and VM3, because this rule is applied to this network, default network. And as these two VMs are running with the default VPC network, this rule is applicable for them too. All right, very simple. So you can just explore about the other things as well. And if you see here, this is the internal rule. Means if you remember in the last VPC section, we were talking about we have explored that, right? So even we have created one VM instance at Mumbai, and we also create another VM instance maybe in US, I believe. Yeah, in US Iowa, but they are part of same VPC. Okay, irrespective of a geographical location, when they are part of a same VPC, we are able to connect to them, right? When we try to ping from US region VM to the Mumbai region VM, it's pinging, right? It's pinging. That's because of this rule. Okay, so this rule is responsible for allowing all the internal communication within the VPC. Okay, so you can just explore, you can just click any rule and you can get into it and you can explore about it. And we have one default for RDP to take an RDP session, and we also have an firewall rule to allow SSH communication. All right, fine. So this is all for the default VPC that's available. And these are all the, again, the default firewall policy that is added to the custom uh, custom VPC which we have created. Okay, so if you remember or if you can recall, when we created this custom VPC, we have actually allowed it. Means it asked, it give us an option as like, do you want to add all this default VPC means or add this default firewall rules to your custom VPC? We said yes, we enabled it, so that those firewall rules are also getting added to it. Okay, so you can, as I said, you can just click and you can go through it, means explore about it. That's fine. It's just a basics. That's fine. And let's see how to create a new firewall rule. So when it comes to firewall rule, there are two options. Means there is either you can create a policy or you can create a rule. Maybe in this video, let's see, understand about how to go with the rule. Maybe once we are clear with the firewall rule in the upcoming videos, later let's understand about this policy. So this is nothing but, means basically here is the place when you create one rule, okay, for one requirement. And this is the place when you want to add multiple rules as a one policy, and you can apply that policy to your VPC. Okay, maybe we'll be doing this as well, don't worry. For now, let's start with here. Fine, let me create a new simple firewall rule. Okay, so once you click the place, so this is how it will come to, means this is the place where you need to define your firewall rule. Okay, and you can give any name here, like maybe I'll just give my new firewall rule 1. All right, fine. And you can add your valid description here. The reason for the description or the importance of a description is when it comes to production, maybe it doesn't make any sense when you're practicing in lab, but even then it's a good practice. However, when you see in the production, you'll be seeing a lot of rules, right, for different types of traffics. So it would be good if you have a valid description written for each firewall rule, because later at any point of time, if you want to refer something, you can just go through here and you can understand it. All right, so then following to that, logs. So if you want to turn on your logs, you can just click here. And logs are very important, because for any incidents that happen, right, it would be much helpful for us to understand the network traffic, the pattern, or is there is any the compromisation happen, threat happen, something like that. So basically it helps us to analyze post to any threats or post to any incidents that are reported. So I'm just enabling it, and this is the place where you need to associate your firewall rule to your VPC. Okay, basically we are creating a VPC now, and we are associating that VPC to which we are creating a firewall rule now, and here we are defining to which VPC we want that to get associated. Okay, so I am telling that let it get added to custom one. Okay, and if you see here, by def means the priority. Okay, so if you remember, we have discussed about this in the last slide, I believe, last video, where it ranges from 0 to 65, 535 in numbers. The higher the number, lower the priority. All right, so you can have anything like that. So I'm just making this like 10 10. All right, fine. Then you need to define the direction of the traffic, whether you would like to apply this on an ingress or an egress. So as you know, ingress is a inbound traffic that's coming inwards. All right, and egress is the traffic that's going out. And then action on match. Okay, so this is what action to be taken. Okay, you're writing some condition, and if in case that condition is matching, what I should do, either to allow, it's permit, or to deny. So this is the place we need to define. And we scroll a little down, targets. Okay, so this is the place where you need to define which is the specified target. Okay, if you click here, we have three options for now, like all instances in the network, specified target tags, and service accounts. We'll be discussing in detail about this in the upcoming videos also, but for now let me go with this first option as like all instances in the network, which means that when you go with this option, if you have say for example 5 VMs in your VPC, this particular firewall rule that we are returning, we are drafting, is applicable to all the 5 VM instances. Okay, it's not to any specific VM in your VPC. It is applicable to all instances that's created in the VPC. All right, so source filter, like, so you want to, what's your source filters like, or you want to define it based on your source IPv4 address, IPv6 addresses, or any tags, or again service accounts. Let me just go with the default IPv4 address, and here is the place where you define a source IP address ranges. Maybe just for an example, I'll make it as like global or any IPs. Okay, I'll just put 0.0.0.0. As I said earlier, in the upcoming videos, we'll be understanding more in detail. Okay, we'll be doing explicitly with certain set of IP addresses, and let's understand more in detail about it. And as I said, means this particular video, we're just going to see how to create a simple firewall rule. All right. And if you want to add a second source filter also, you can make it. It's also possible. By default, it is none. And then it comes as the destination filter. By default, it's none. And here as well, you can add the IP ranges too. All right. So this is very important thing. So based on which we are influencing the packet. Like by means either you want to allow all, or you want to do specific to any protocols, ports, or any services. All right, as I said, we are just understanding how to create a simple policy, so I'm just going with the allow all, which is very simple, but we'll be exploring more detail in the upcoming videos about ports, protocols in the upcoming videos. All right, so I'm just going with the allow all only for this time. And if you just click here, this is where you need to define your enforcement. Okay, so as we are creating a new policy, it is set to be enabled, and even once the policy is created, it would be enabled. But if in case you want to disable it, you can just come back to edit. You can open that policy and you can edit it, come back to this enforcement and make it disable. Okay, this is the place where you are defining if your policy want to, if your rule want to be enabled or disabled. All right, just click create. So this is very simple policy or a simple rule, I would say. So once this rule is created, okay, we can see here my new firewall. Okay, it's still in creating. Okay, it's done now. See, my new firewall rule is created. It's very simple, as I said earlier, but if you click here, so whatever we have configured, right, it's part of here. And the thing is, if you means it's okay. If you scroll down a little, you'll be seeing the list of VMs here that to which this particular firewall rule is applied. The reason why we are seeing only one VM, because we have created this particular firewall rule explicitly for this particular VPC. And if you come and see the VM instances, only one we have only one VM instances for this particular VPC, and that's the reason here it is showing us only one. Okay, but at the same time it's not showing us the VM1 and VM3 because VM1 and VM3 are part of default VPC. Okay, but we have created this security or the firewall rules explicitly for this custom VPC, and that's the reason we see only the one VM. All right, let's see what happens if we create another VM for this VPC. Okay, if you click create, I'll just name it as like my VM4, my VM4, and maybe I'll just put it in the Delhi region, South Asia 2, right? Fine. And N2. Okay, I'll come back to advanced option. So here is the place networking. I need to change the network, right? But by default, it would take the default VPC. I just make it to custom. Okay, I'm just modifying it. We have discussed about this multiple times in the last section. So I'm just going quick. So that's it. So I'm just clicking create. If you see now a new VM instance would be created. Again, a part of a VPC custom one. This particular VM would be coming under part of custom one VPC in the Delhi region, and it has its own subnet that we have defined in the last sections. Okay, and once it is created, if you come here and scroll, refresh it again, we could see that the new VM is also added here, which means that as this particular firewall rule is applicable, or this firewall rule is defined for this particular custom VPC, even if you are creating a new VM instance, that part of this particular custom VPC will get the same firewall. Or in the other words, this particular firewall rule is created for this custom VPC, right? So whoever comes as a part of this custom VPC will get the same firewall rules, or this firewall rules will be applied to them as well. Okay, I think this VM instance is created. All right, yeah, this VM instance is created. So now we have totally 4 VM instance, out of which 2 VM instance are part of custom VPC. I'll just go here again, we'll refresh it. So as soon as it's refreshed, I could see, I will be seeing two things, two VMs. See, the new VM is also getting added. So as like that, even in production, if you have already an existing firewall rule, so if you are creating a multiple VM instance, it would get automatically added here. Fine. So this is how you can write a simple firewall rule. All right. So as of now, we are not testing anything because anyway, we set everything, right? Maybe I can show you. Right. I'll just open command prompt and let's go and see our IP addresses. Okay. So we have created the firewall rules for this one, VM2 and VM4, right? So what is the public IP of this one? It's, let me copy here and let me try to ping. Okay. Ping, hit enter. So I'm able to connect from the internet. All right. Fine. And also let's go here, copy this one and try to ping the other IP addresses, or the IP addresses of the other new VM that we created now. All right. So we are getting response basically from the internet, or through the internet we can able to, or we are able to connect to the VM instance that we have created in the GCP. And basically this request is going through the firewall. How to confirm it? Let's go back to our firewall here again and let's come back to the firewall. Let me put it. Okay. So if you see here, this is the rule that we have created, right? Maybe I'll just zoom it once again. But thing is, if I zoom, I need to scroll a little like this. Okay, so I think it would be okay. Fine. So if you see here, right, this is the rule that we have created. My new firewall 1. All right. So this is an ingress and it's applicable to all because we don't set any defined or specific targets, right? And we allowed everything. This is the priority. And if you see here, right, the hit count is 62, which means the traffic, whenever a traffic is hitting, the count will get increased. All right. The reason why it is not hitting to other, the other ICMP or other rule, and it's hitting here is because we have a less priority. or a priority number, I would say, which has which takes the precedence, or which has the highest priority. Means basically lower the number, higher the priority, right? So we have the lower number here. So comparing to other, these are having a default numbers. So we have a lower number here. As this is lower, it is the higher priority. So this rule takes precedence, and whenever a request, even a ping from internet is coming, it's hitting this particular rule. All right. So 62 counts. And also I think we have enabled logging, right? If you have a log, so once you get into your firewall rule, so this is the place you can just scroll down, and you can also see the graph. Maybe in the means we have just created, right? But in production you'd be having a detailed information. And also you can just click here to view from the log explorer. Can, we can have a detailed information from here. But as I said, means you can basically put filters and you can get all the required informations. But as I said, this is a very new firewall rule that we have created. We don't have much informations to explore on the log part. But we understood, we created a simple firewall rule in this video. We understood how to define a firewall rule and what are the parameters that is part of a firewall rule, and we understood it, right? Fine. So as I said, in the upcoming videos, let's play more with firewall rules with the other options that's available in the role.